This episode is brought to you by Casamigos Tequila. What do you bring to a holiday party? Simple, a bottle of Casamigos. Because nothing gets the party started like a Casamigos margarita, which isn't just for summer. In fact, it's the perfect pour all year round. Casamigos is the gift that always feels right, because anything goes with my Casamigos. Please drink responsibly. Imported by Casamigos Spirits Company, White Plains, New York. Casamigos Tequila, 40% alcohol by volume.
Mientras los quienes de Villaquién reían y comían, el Grinch desde su guarida su plan definía. Pensó, ¿cómo arruinar sus cenas festivas? Y le vino una idea, de las más retorcidas. Salpicaré sus papitas de verde, con sazón de pepinillo, y con esos feos calcetines verán mi retorcido motivo. Así que si quieres probar lo que el Grinch preparó, ve a McDonald's y verás lo que tramó. El nuevo Grinch Meal, ya, en McDonald's. En McDonald's participantes hasta agotar existencias. Para pa pa pa.
All right, listen up, Nacho Chips. Quiet down, crispy potatoes. This is the moment Velveeta's been preparing you for, and you're not about to crack under pressure. Today's the day to go all in on the drip. Velveeta's Heat and Eat Queso is the MVP of any game day spread, so stick by them, and you'll be golden. Now get out there and make delicious history. No tailgate party is complete without Velveeta.
401k Millionaire Club is growing, and we're going to continue to talk about slow growing as it relates to personal finances, because that's literally what it takes to be successful. Slow and just continuing to grow year after year. Enjoy.
When I was younger, I thought of failing. That's so easy for some to praise me and envy. So humble and kind, no better person. Now that I'm older, I've seen what I've been. Ruthless, ungrateful, always trying to turn off tracks. It about me or you. Seeking out the faithful and with tricks.
Thank you so much for tuning into The Age of Jeremy. My name is Jeremy Quintanilla. I'm the host of this show, and this is a show all about my business adventures and side quests. I'm really excited about this show today because it's going to be a boring, slow show, because boring and slow is what gets you to be a millionaire or a multimillionaire. I don't know if that's what gets you to be a billionaire. I think billionaires are made through liquidity events, but we'll talk about that a little. But I guess to get to the liquidity event stage, you had to slowly kind of grow, I guess, over time, I suppose. But we're going to talk about that in today's episode. But before we get started, I just wanted to let you know that I do have another show. It's called Mercury. It's a show all about podcasting and pop culture news. It is a live show that I do on my Age of Jeremy channel, but it's really produced through my media company, Age of Radio. Age of Radio is the podcast company that is for everyone. It is actually a media company, but we have a podcast network where anyone can join. We take care of the distribution, we help grow the show, and we work to monetize that show over time. And so if you have a podcast or you want to start a podcast, we specifically specialize in that 0 to maybe 20,000 downloads a month, and then work to grow those shows as part of our network. If you're interested in that, reach out to me at support@ageofradio.com, and I would love to help you out with that. The last thing that I want to say, because we are just coming around the corner on tax season, I am an entrepreneur. I do have a tax business. If you need help with tax advice, if you need tax advisory, if you need bookkeeping, if you need us to look over previous tax statements, we've been able to help some of our clients save money on previous taxes that were maybe filed incorrectly, or maybe the cryptocurrency wasn't handled correctly. So if you're interested in that, reach out to me at jeremy.quintanilla@qfinancialllc.com. That's jeremy.quintanilla@qfinancialllc.com. You can also go to qfinancialllc.com and see what we're about. And there are some of our rates on there as well. So go and check that out. Check out ageofradio.com. See all the podcasts. Maybe sit and listen to a podcast. go over to qfinancialllc.com and check us out while you're listening to one of the amazing podcasts, because I believe that the Age of Radio Network has a podcast for everyone. It has your next favorite podcast. Jumping into this episode, we're going to be talking a little bit about some of the things that I've been thinking about. Again, this is a show about my business adventures and side quests. This is mainly going to be more towards personal finance today, mainly because I have been talking a lot about personal finance on my Age of Jeremy Instagram. And it comes to my attention that one of the things that I find as I'm making content or I'm even coaching people is that they really want this to happen fast for them, or they're at a later stage in their life and they're looking for something to just kind of give them a way to change their position like right away. And the thing about investing is it really takes time and it can be very, very boring, and you just have to put in the work to get your finances and your investing and your saving in order. This first thing that I want to talk about is from the Wall Street Journal. This is an article that they came out with. It's the 401k Millionaire Club article. And steady saving by many Americans and a third consecutive year of big gains for the U.S. stocks have swollen account balances. As 2025 comes to a close, many individual investors are finding holiday cheer and statements showing they have crossed the 1 million milestone. Now, if you're not familiar with the 401k, a 401k is an employee pension program or retirement program where usually the company will match a certain amount of money. So let's say you put in $100, your company will give you an extra $100 as part of a compensation package. That money goes into a fund or a 401k account that can be either managed by you, but the overall fund itself, or what it can invest in, or the 401k, what the 401k can invest in, is decided on by a fund manager. And so again, one of my biggest pet peeves of 401ks is it doesn't let you just invest in whatever you want. Now, there are 401ks that can let you do that, such as solo 401ks. But again, I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with 401k. Those are just things that I don't like about them. 401k does have a lot of benefits and advantages. There's also benefits and advantages to the businesses that provide them for their employees. So it is an option that's out there. But as this article points out, as of the third quarter, there were 654,000 401k millionaires at the brokerage Fidelity, the highest level in records going back to the early 2000s when they started recording this. Around 3.2% of more than 3 million accounts tracked by benefits provider Alight had balances above 1 million as of the third quarter, double the figure at the end of 2022. At T. Rowe Price, roughly 2.6% of participants had balances above $1 million, up from 1.3% at the end of 2022. For the first time, half of private sector workers are saving in 401ks, which allow workers to invest more directly from their paychecks without subtracting income taxes up front. So the money that's going into the 401k is pre-taxed income. Many of these accounts which allows you to, again, reduce it off of like your income that you pay taxes on. Many of these accounts are also more tied to the stock market than ever before, which is good, with workers in their late 30s allocating roughly 88% to equities last year, up from 82% a decade earlier, according to the Vanguard Group examination. According to a Vanguard Group examination of the millions of plans it administers, while about 40% of the U.S. households are still at risk of being unable to maintain their standard of living in retirement, according to the Center for Retirement Research at Boston College, many of those using 401ks are doing better than ever. And so I think that this is great, and this is a perfect example that you have to start. The reason why I wanted to bring this up is you can save money if you start putting money aside and saving it. Again, you should be in traditional, traditional personal finance strategy. You should be maxing out your 401k up to the amount that the employee or employer matches. So for example, if they're going to match up to 6% of what you're willing to put in, then they will match that amount up to that amount, and then they'll stop matching it. So again, it doesn't make sense for you to put into it if they stop matching it, if that makes sense. And the 6% that I mean is like you contribute 6% of your paycheck and they'll match up to 100% of that. If you go to 7% of your paycheck, they won't match that extra 1%. So hopefully that makes sense. But the point is in traditional financial recommendations, you want to make sure that you're putting that money first into the 401k, maxing that out, and then going to the other investments, because that's money that they're giving you. Now, there have been some analysis. There has been analysis that and studies that show that in something like maybe an index universal life insurance policy, it would still be better to do that than put it into a 401k, even if there is a match. I know that there was a business partner that I used to have, not CJV, an older business partner, that got into a product that was similar to index universal life insurance, that used components of it, that their product would do something similar to what I was just talking about, where it would beat what you would originally put into a 401k, and it was structured similarly like an IUL policy. And it was about the time that IUL started really taking off again. This was probably back in 2018, 2019. And again, as you know, I have an insurance company, and one of the products that we focus on and that I focus on when I talk to people in my Q Financial business is the benefits of having an index universal life insurance policy. It's not necessarily specifically for retirement. It can be used that way. But again, it is something that should maybe be a part of your strategy of your entire financial planning. But back to the 401k. The 401k, again, this is something that takes a lot of time to invest in. That's why it sucks, and it's hard when you meet people that are in their 50s or 60s that are just starting to save, because compounding takes time. And so I just really want to hit it home that it's so important to start putting 5, 10, 15, 20 bucks away every single week, as much as you can, into something that is going to grow over time. And you might not be able to buy a stock right away. You might not be able to buy into a fund right away, but put money aside so that it's saving, so that then you can invest it. And the sooner that you start that activity of sacrificing that money at the beginning of when you get paid, it's paying yourself first, you can start putting that money away, and that money will start to grow. The other thing that I wanted to mention about this article that I think that not a lot of people talk about a lot is how much you actually need for retirement. So the best rule in my opinion, and this was from, I think, an economist, might have won a prize for this, I don't know, but you take the amount that you need in retirement to live off of, or what you want to live off of, right? What you want to spend on a yearly basis. You take that number and you divide it by 0.04, and that should be the number that you need in retirement to live out the rest of your days. So for example, I'll be real with you guys right now. Right now I've been doing a lot of, maybe spending a little bit more on myself every month, maybe going out, doing some more stuff that I normally would do. And my expenses are probably in total with all of our bills, maybe about $5,000 a month. Nothing crazy, but could be a lot for a lot of people. And again, everybody's in different situations. If I wanted to live my lifestyle right now, I would take that $5,000, I times it by 12, it's $60,000. So if I wanted to have $60,000 to pay my bills to live exactly how I am right now, not saving anything else, right? Because that doesn't include like my savings and things like that. If I wanted that specifically, I take that number, I divide it by 0.04. That number is $1.5 million. I need at least $1.5 million into today's money to spend $60,000 a year. And I think that this I think if I'm correctly, this formula counts for inflation, but actually, you know what? I don't think this counts for, I think this counts for 2.5% inflation. But an even better way to do it, to be on the safe side, is you could take the $60,000, you could find out what that's going to be in future money, then divide that number by 0.04, and that'll be exactly what you need to live off of that amount of money for the rest of your life. And if you're confused on what I'm talking about, reach out to me on social media. Instagram is the best place to DM me. You can do it on LinkedIn. Reach out to me, ask me exactly what I'm talking about. But the point is that you want to know what that number needs to be. If you don't freaking know what the number is that you need to have, then you're never going to be able to get to the number that you need so that you can live comfortably into retirement. And it's one of the things that I don't think that we talk enough about, along with the fact that we have to compensate for inflation in that regard. We have to get to a number that gives us the future purchasing power of whatever that amount is that we want into the future. So I'm really happy that there's a lot of more millionaires going 401ks that are having millions of dollars in that account. But again, I think that I think that that's great. I think that, but it's not the number that we need to be looking for. The number that we need to be looking for is the number that we want to be able to spend on a regular basis in retirement to live out the rest of our days. I mean, if I want to go wild when I retire and spend $10,000 a month, take $10,000 times 12, divide that by 0.04, and at least $3 million. Okay. And so again, if you're young on this right now, go open a freaking investment brokerage account, go and get something I use Charles Schwab, big fan of Charles Schwab, did not have an account until they bought Thinkorswim or bought TD Ameritrade, the US division, integrated into their Charles Schwab products, have Thinkorswim as one of their products. Hopefully they keep that. Love their products, love what they're doing, and go get one of their accounts. Get a brokerage account. Won't take you very long to set up, and start investing in something right away. I don't care if it's an S&P ETF. I don't give a shit if it's a country that you love. I don't care if it's a stock that you like, or if it's a company that maybe you love Netflix. Save up your money, buy a share of Netflix. I don't give a crap. Point is that you need to start investing right now. We do not talk about it enough, of the importance of saving for the amount of money that we want to have in the future. So please, make sure that you guys do that. And if you guys want to know what I invest in, a couple of things that you can do. You can join my Dope Insights and Updates chat on Instagram at Age of Jeremy. I have 46 members in there. Let's get that to, I don't know, whoever's listening to this, go and join that chat. Be a part of the club. Be a part of the group. I'll put a link down in the episode description so that you can jump into that. And then from there, I share. But if you want to even take it a step further, come on into our 3T Warrior Academy. Head over to 3twarrioracademy.com. There's probably a link in my episode description. I believe there is. Click on that. Find out what Coach JV and I are talking about. We talk about our whole Capital DR trademark system. CJV came up with that based off of what we actually do on a regular basis, creating cash flow, buying appreciating assets, utilizing protection and leverage, and de-risking. Now, me and him, sometimes we don't invest in the same exact stuff, but we use the same exact system and process, because you have to have a system and process to be successful with anything in life, and you definitely need to be successful with your finances. So I encourage you to start saving today, start investing today, and if you don't have the money, try to find more money. Try to make more money, grind it out, spend less, put something away every single week before you do anything else with your paycheck. Your future fucking depends on it. Now, with that being said, we'll be right back.
When the holidays start to feel a bit repetitive, reach for a Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry and put your twist on tradition. A bold cranberry and winter spice flavor fusion, Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry is a refreshing way to shake things up this sipping season. And only for a limited time. Sprite. Obey your thirst.
At LinkedIn, we know hiring is a big deal for your small business. Sometimes it can feel a little overwhelming. LinkedIn uses data that you can't find anywhere else to give you the best candidates, all so you can feel confident you're hiring the best person for the job. And even a little hiring bliss. See why 86% of small businesses who post a job on LinkedIn get a qualified candidate within a day. Post a job for free at linkedin.com/achieve. LinkedIn, your next great hire is here.
To continue our conversation about boring, I want to talk about how boring finances can be. they can be very, very boring. Not only is finance school somewhat boring, minus the investments and the portfolio theory, which is something that I like, but personal finance can be very boring once you get going. And the thing that I've found that most people end up failing or stopping in life because they can't get through those monotonous periods of boringness where they're doing the same repetitive fucking thing over and over and over and over again. If you're going to be great at something, you have to do it over and over and over again. When I was learning to play guitar, or even now when I play new instruments and try to, read music and so forth, it's just getting the same time set up every single day, practicing the same thing, practicing the basics, doing them over and over and over again to get better and better and better and better. It's one of the most important things that we can learn in life is just to do the same fucking thing over and over and over again. And it's the same thing for finances. So getting your finances together, you have to set the mental state that you're going to be doing the same shit over and over. Okay. And the reason why that's important is because the first place to start is the awareness of knowing where every dollar goes and then setting a budget to track every dollar. You have to figure out what's happening with the money that you currently have so that you can then assess where you can create gaps between your income and your expenses, also known as your profit, that can be then reallocated or redeployed into other areas to make you more successful or to grow what you've already have. And the reason why I'm hitting the nail home with the consistency factor, right? And again, I guess consistency would be the second thing. The number one thing I always tell people is you have to meditate. You have to have a sense of your emotions because people have emotional attachments to money. For example, I don't give a shit about money. I just utilize it as a resource. It allows me to create the things that I want in the world to move things forward the way that I want them to be. That's always been the way that it has been. It just happens that I was in a position that I took advantage of where I was able to start my business with CJV and grind that out and then get more money and then redeploy it where I wanted it to be so then I could get more money. And then I just continue that cycle over and over through life. And then I do fun stuff every once in a while and then I'll probably die. And so the point is that the stuff that's in the middle of that is you can decide what to do with. But the point is that to get to that point, you have to have a good understanding of your emotions around money so that you can't let it control you. You can't let money serve you. Heard a beautiful quote today from a member of our men's group in Refined Integrity. He read a verse from Matthew about, God should be your only master, servant, not to get religious, but the other part of the quote was, money should never be your master. Okay. Money is a servant to you, right? Money serves you. You're the one that's in charge of the money. But the problem is that most of us allow money to control us and we're not utilizing it to move ourselves forward to where we need to make it be or what we need to be. Okay. Once that emotional thing is understood, then yes, it's completely fucking monotonous after that. And that's even monotonous because sitting down and meditating the same place at the same time every single day, same thing happens. But once we get this concept that we're going to be doing stuff over and over, that's important because budgeting is about finding where every dollar goes, setting goals for what you want categories to be. So for example, I spend a lot of money on food. I'm working on reducing that. Okay. I cut out my food spending this last month, probably around $300 a month. Nope. I'm sorry. $300 a week. So from that, I've saved $1,200 almost a month in money that it was just useless for me to be spending on food. Now I'm going to take that even a step further because I know that that's a bucket that I don't want, where like 30% of my money, not really 30%, but it's probably not really, it's actually, well, I shouldn't say that it's probably. So the number is around 17%. So 17% of my money is going to food, but it's a lot. I can get that down because it's just me that I'm feeding. It's going to be different for people if they have families and so forth and so forth. So you need to know what those numbers are so that you can make assessments so that you can reduce them. So that's the first thing. You have that consistency. So that's the first thing, the budget. Where the consistency comes in is because every fucking week, right, you need to go in there and look at it and be like, okay, this is where my spending's going. Is this categorized right? Is this categorized right? Is this categorized right? Is this categorized right? So I can know where my fucking money's going, so then I can make the decision on what to do. And then you set the goal in place and you just look at it over and over and over and try to do better and better and better and better. And then the discipline happens, because then you start saving more money or having more money available to you, and rather than spending it on stupid shit, you take that money and you deploy it into investments or into your business or into other ways to make more money. Every dollar that is saved has to be deployed to find another brother, to find a brother or sister, another dollar for it, right? It's designed to have that flow coming in, to that money constantly coming in, but it's boring as fucking hell. It's the same thing day in and day out. You have a process, you stick to the process, and you keep going. It's consistency. And that consistency of having that process, it automates the future. So you build a predictable schedule of what's happening, right? How you're spending your money, how you're saving your money, your payments, how you're looking at your money, the KPIs that you're tracking, right? And then that also, along with that emotional unattachment to money, it allows you to do this on a regular basis. So then you can have a bunch of money and not feel the need to go out and spend it, unless you need to go and spend it to reduce taxes or whatever the case is, right? Okay. So those are the two biggest things that you need to start with: your emotions. Realize that it's fucking boring. Get really consistent at your budget. The people that have a budget, and this goes for myself, sometimes I do really strong with my budget, sometimes I do really shitty with my budget, sometimes I don't even look at it. I had to get new software. I just got Quick and Simplify. I put a post on Instagram about budgeting and how you can do it with just a piece of paper and a pen. But when you're looking at it and you're doing it, it's just this monotonous. I know I'm saying it so many times. It's because I don't think people realize it. People ask me all the time how I've been successful. It's because I do the same stuff every single day, over and over and over, and try to get better at it and better at it and better at it. So emotions, awareness, and budgeting. Those are the two most important things. And with that, that comes consistency. And then you need to make sure that you have safeguards in place. A lot of people refer to this as emergency fund. I know a lot of people have heard it. I like to just put my money in my brokerage account. Then if I need it, I can liquidate some of it. I get it. Most people aren't like that. I just don't like having just a bunch of cash sitting around. I don't like that. Okay. Or you can just if an emergency happens, have it in the brokerage account, use a card, sell the stuff that's in the brokerage account, pay the taxes on it, and buy it. Or you can put it into like a one of the things that I did, I just put a large sum of money into a new brokerage account, and in that brokerage account, it's sitting inside of a fund that doesn't get charged tax. It's a municipal bond fund. It's going to pay me out quarterly interest payments on it because it's all based off of bonds. Bonds have coupon payments. This one does coupon payments every quarter, or interest payments every quarter, and I don't have to pay taxes on any of it. And the interest rate is basically keeping up with inflation. Okay, so rather than sitting in a bank where it's losing inflation, rather than having in the stock markets where it's super volatile, I have it in this fund so that I can get a small amount of interest to keep up with inflation over the year. And when I sell it, I don't have to pay taxes on it. And it's not in an actual locked up fund. So, and there are fees with it, right? So it'll probably be a little bit less than inflation. But again, you're losing all of your money if you just have it in cash and you're getting like 0.01% a year from the bank. So there are other options available to you. It's just people don't know where to go look. And that's the goal of this, what this is for, and what my channel is on Instagram, the Dope Insights and Updates channel, is to be able to provide this and tell you guys what I'm doing so that you can do it, or you guys can come and be a part of the 3T Warrior Academy, jump in there, become a member, go through our Warrior Ascension program, and you have access to us, a little bit more. And that's really, to be honest with you, that's really just it over and over and over again. The biggest thing that happens with it is that the biggest thing that people don't realize is they need to have more cash. And sometimes you have to trade, we always say, and again, I love CJV, my business partner. He usually says, You don't want to trade time for money. But then we both sometimes say that sometimes you have to trade time for money. Sometimes it means requiring to go and getting a second job. The problem is what happens is when we get more cash because we don't have a way to not take it and get the other stuff that we want or the things that the world tells us that we want, we end up just doing stupid shit with it rather than deploying it in other ways. Right? Where everybody's like, there's this mindset where everybody needs to have a side hustle. I really believe that every motherfucker out there should have a side hustle. You need to have a side hustle. You need to be grinding. You need to make more and more money. Again, love CJV. He's going to retire. I don't have any interest in that. I just want to grind. I'm more like, I'm more like Gary Vaynerchuk, right? He's very much more wealthier than I am. But like, the point is that I'm going to be there, right? In my mind, I'm a trillionaire. People think that billions is done. The billionaire, you shouldn't even want to be a billionaire anymore. You should want to be a trillionaire, right? If you're gonna shoot for the stars, you might as well shoot for. If you're gonna shoot for the sky, shoot for the I don't know, Venus and land on the moon or something. Actually, Venus might. I don't know. I guess that would. I don't know if that analogy works. I guess I don't know the solar system well enough. Point is that the new billionaire is a trillionaire. Okay, we will have the world's first trillionaire. And your aspiration, if your aspiration is this, right, it should be to be a trillionaire. I know the amount of money that I want to get to do the things that I need to do. I know that number. You need to have that number. Go back to the beginning of this episode. You need to know the number that you want to retire with if that is your dream. As of right now, I don't have that dream. I just like working. I like grinding. Me and Gary Vaynerchuk, we just, not that I know him, we have disagreements on certain things, but for the most part, I admire his hustle culture. But again, that doesn't have to be what you want. But the point is that you need to know what the number is. And sometimes you are not getting that number at your current job. You need to fucking skill up. There's no reason to not go back to fucking college and get a better skill. One, because you can get paid more. Learn to sell something on the side. In our, one of the things that we don't talk, another thing that we don't talk a lot about is gross domestic product. Our gross domestic product comes from three places: government. Okay, so the government doing shit. 2, from real estate, and 3 from finances. So if you want to hustle in one of those areas, probably the real estate or the finances would be better. Insurance, advisory, learning about stocks, helping people, wealth planning, financial planning, real estate, selling real estate, land, any other type of real estate, type of business that you can get involved in. That's where most of our GDP comes. So, which means that that's the thing that's fueling the economy. So if you want to be a part of those industries, go and learn something about those industries and it'll take off. The other one is obviously engineering. There's more millionaires in the engineering fields than anything else. And I think that would make sense, especially if the government's involved, because they're putting out contracts to engineers and hiring people, and then they're hiring people around the governments and so forth. But the point is at some point you have to look at yourself and say, okay, I need to cut my expenses. I need to make more money. When I make more money, I need to find that new money to make me more money. And then I need to get that money to then make me some other money and so forth. And you start building this cycle. And the key to everything that I'm trying to say right now, and I will digress, is that you need to fucking be okay with it being boring as fucking hell for long periods of times and even years. If you eat shit for 7 years, you'll eat caviar forever. And I think if you can eat shit, the longer that you can eat shit, the more and more money that you will make. Okay? And again, eating shit takes a lot of dedication and consistency, and it can be very boring. And I guess if you're actually eating shit, it can be very gross. So with that, as I always say, be thankful, grateful, and kind, and we'll talk with you soon. Bye.
Everything up, every last breath, every first taste for you, just to make it all right, just to make it all right. But it's too late to go back. I can see the darkness through the cracks, daylight fading. I curse the breaking, the day is gone. the day is gone. Run away, I'll just run away like a child from all of them to you. And now I see my most constant mistake is I don't know what I love till it's gone. But it's too late to go back. I can see the darkness through the cracks. Daylight fading, I curse the break